Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Track Talk, your connection coast to coast and beyond in all the latest news, developments, stake race analysis, and interviews inside the world of thoroughbred horse racing. From California to New York, Florida, and Kentucky, we have you covered. It's post time, live from San Diego. It's Track Talk.
And we welcome you from a beautiful San Diego, California on this Saturday. Top of the morning to Wade Taylor inside our WS Radio Network. Tommy D is inside the studio this morning after 6 months of social distancing. We're continuing to social distance here. And our distance today is our focus. And our focus, without any question, is on the running of the Pacific Classic live from Del Mar today. What a great Saturday. We welcome you no matter where you are, east, west, north, and south. 11 race card at Del Mar today. The Pacific Classic, well, the Kentucky Derby winner, Maximum Security. Oh, wait. He didn't win the Kentucky Derby, but he actually won the Kentucky Derby. And now he's in Bob Baffert's barn. He is running today in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar, just a field of 6. He's even money, morning line, favored, even money, Maximum Security. The horse that Tommy D was on for a month of Sundays leading up to the Kentucky Derby of last year. And remember, we haven't had a Kentucky Derby this year, but we are just 2 weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. So no matter where you are, let us know where you're tuning in. It would be quite appreciative. Want to shout out to my friends, the Varieties up there in Los Angeles, that they will take a little joyride today back to the East Coast. And Tommy D inside the studio. Great to see you, my friend.
Hey, great to see you, Felix. Nice to be back in the studio. Happy Pacific Classic Day, everybody. Here in Southern California, we're talking Del Mar, baby. This is the big race. You know, the fans aren't there, but you know what? You know, we still got Maximum Security. You talked about this horse. We were on it. You know, a lot of people doubted it in the last race coming back to handicap, saying, you know, coming out of the service barn. Well, when you go to Bob Baffert's barn, that's only an upgrade. And, you know, this horse looked phenomenal. I don't see any of the horses taking this horse out today, but, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But Maximum Security, I think, is a true champion.
And the former trainer with Tommy D was referring to is John Service and George Navarro got taken down by the feds for administering illegal drugs. And that percentage of those two trainers were always skyrocketing. We always mentioned it. Personally, I always mentioned it, Tommy D. It was like a standard joke coming in. What's Service's winning percentage this week, Tommy D? And he'd look and say 37. And it got high as 40%, I do believe, at one time. But that's neither here nor there. What is important is that the horse was taken away from Service and given to Bob Baffert, traveled all the way across the country, now stabled in Southern California. And the watch is on for the Navarro and the Service horses, you know, post their training and see how they're doing. And I think Maximum Security, I don't know if he was found to have drugs in his system, but I just think that this is an equine superstar, Tommy D. And I give him the benefit of the doubt. This horse has put it on the line every single time he has run. They entered him in a maiden race, I think 16 or 18,000 as the story goes, and he went on to win the Florida Derby and then ran big and to win the Kentucky Derby. But you feel good about, you know, the post-service situation in regard to betting Maximum Security. I know a lot of horse players would say, well, you know, I'm not betting anything that's come from that Service or that Navarro barn. Do you feel the same way?
You know, no and yes. When it's going into a good horseman's barn, you know, I understand that maybe some drugs were in the system, but Maximum Security, you know, this horse, High Hopes, you know, they might have been pumped with some drugs, but these horses do still have a lot of heart and a lot of talent also. Maximum Security proven himself coming back, you know, from winning, you know, Dubai, coming back to California and proven himself last time. And I thought it was a very nice performance. Mid-court, I thought Victor Espinoza, great ride last time. It's going to have to, improve a little bit better. I think Maximum Security is only going to get better. It's second off the layoff. Bob Baffert has a little bit more time. I think this horse is a superstar, Felix. I still believe Maximum Security is a true superstar.
Yeah, I agree with you. We got Zapper on, Wade Taylor. Let's go up to Los Angeles to bring in Zapper on a Saturday morning. You ready to go, Zapper?
Yeah, I'm always ready to go, Felix. I was on Maximum Security. Just like to say that because that seems to be forgotten. I think his last race was average for what we expected from him. Bob Baffert did not run a short horse. This horse is vulnerable today. That will be my opinion. We're running Dark Vader against them. We're out to beat Maximum Security because he was not that impressive in the San Diego, and he was well prepared for that race, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree. Yeah. I would agree that he was all out. I really didn't dive into the race, but we're going to find out. We're going to get to the race. Hey, a lot of folks listening, they need to make some money today at Del Mar, without any question about that. Let's go to the second race quickly here as we break down 11-race card. I'll fill you in with the jockey results. We got a battle going on. Rispoli and Flavian Pratt are knocking each other in a 15-round heavyweight fight. Rispoli wins. Pratt comes back. Rispoli led the day. Going into the day, he led by one. I believe they both won one yesterday. I could be wrong. Maybe one of them won two. But nevertheless, it's no more than a one-race lead for either one of them. Tommy D, let's go to work here. I want to start with the second race because we'll get Toby on, and we'll talk about the maiden races. But the second race on this card is an allowance-claiming race. It's 5.5 furlongs, a purse of $57,000. Fillies and mares, 3 and upward here. Second race, Tommy D, what do you have?
Yeah, I took a look at the favorite here, number 2, Little Grays, and possibly a single in early pick 5s and early pick 4s. Peter Miller, Pratt, you see the combo. You see Pratt aboard a top trainer's horse. He got a like 83 buyer last time. One last out on the track. So number 2, Little Grays, and would be my choice here. If I had to throw a couple horses underneath, maybe an exacted 3, 7, 4 in that order, Felix.
All right, Zapper, what do you think about the second race from Del Mar?
With the scratch of the 5 Wondering Patrol, it looks like the horse Tommy D just gave out is going to be about 3 to 5. I just think it's a terrible race, probably a single, if you're playing pick 5.
All right, let's go right to the third race, a handicap, and that is the third race on the card. I'm trying to think what the name of the handicap is. I usually have it, but I do not.
The Green Flash, Felix.
Well, the Green Flash. Okay, that's why. It was so fast, it just went right through me. What do you have, Zapper, in the Green Flash? I guess that's the beer company that is sponsoring this, or the Green Flash, whatever it is. It's a stakes race today at Del Mar. It's 100,000, 3 and upward. 5 furlongs on the turf. Zapper, do we have a play here?
Yes, we do. And, Green Flash has a notorious West Coast IPA, but they might have been a sponsor years past, but I doubt for 2020. There's a shipper in here that ran off the chain up at Golden Gate Field. Actually, this horse comes in with 3 straight wins. I'm talking about the 8-horse Mike's Tis Now, 4 for 5 at the distance. This guy won at Del Mar last summer, so it isn't just that he's beating Northern California horses. This guy came down south, won last year. He's just in top form. Annie Mathis picks his spots when he shifts. Gonzalez has been riding top guns at this meet. He's been a pleasant surprise in the jockey colony, and Mike's Tis Now, for me, gets top billing. If there's a meltdown, Felix, if there's too much pace, and sometimes pace goes after pace going 5/8, the 5-horse Mesut with that guy Flavian Pratt probably looks to pick up the pieces. He's 2 seconds at 2 tries at this distance, but he will make the last run. I like this race. 8-5, Mike's Tis Now, getting my top star.
All right, you mentioned Roberto Gonzalez, down from Northern California, along with J.J. Hernandez and Abel Cedillo now, who's made his tack here in Southern California, his permanent home. You don't lose anything with Bobby Gonzalez. Roberto Gonzalez is a very, very tough running type of jockey, as well as J.J. Hernandez. But the third race, Tommy D, it's the Green Flash handicap, 5 furlongs on the turf. What do you have in regard?
Yeah, I took a look at a little different. I do like number 8, Mike's Tis Now, but I thought a couple other horses, including number 7, Chaos Theory. 7-2 favorite in its last at Churchill is going to be shipping in here for John Sadler. Rispoli. Listen to that name, guys. Rispoli and Pratt. Pay attention. And then the last one, maybe number 1, Sparkyville, the class. This might be the class. Second, just missing in the Daytona grade 3. Last time out, you get Jeff Bondy. Does nice in the stakes races, and Mike Smith aboard there. So those are the 2 I like here, the 7 and the 1, and I have the 8 on my board too. So I have 7, 1, 8 in this one. I think it's a pretty nice competitive race 3, Green Flash handicap. And you know what the Green Flash means, Felix, right? On the ocean. So when the sun goes down at the end of the day,
I thought so.
This boom, that green flash.
Yes, exactly
Beautiful
right.
if you could catch it.
Yeah, we'll catch it. Let's catch the horse that wins the Green Flash, and then we can catch the Green Flash. Now I got all my stake races in line here. All righty. So as we were talking about Rispoli, or you guys were, and Pratt. Pratt and Rispoli are engaged in battle, but Ron Anderson handled Rispoli's book, and he had Joel Rosario. And then Angel Cordero fired Johnny Velasquez, and Johnny V asked Ron Anderson to handle his book. And so you can only have 2 jockeys. So Rispoli was left out in the cold. He was a free agent, and he was picked up by Scotty McCollin, who handled Joe Talamo and for years handled Chris McCarron. He and Chris McCarron were like peanut butter and jelly. Well, Scotty is well respected around the industry and more so within the agent ranks. And he has done marvelous. I mean, Rispoli was here on a working vacation. I don't think he wants to leave, and he probably will not leave because he has been very, very good. Pratt, the French versus the Italians. All right, going down to the final 2 weeks at Del Mar. Now, we talk about stake races today. We have another one beginning in the 4th race. Well, we have the Run Happy, the Carmation. Those are the names of the races that the first 2 are named after. And then the Green Flash, the 3rd race. The Torrey Pines is the next race we go. A short field here of 3-year-old fillies. And this is an $100,000. It's a grade 3. What do you have, Tommy D, in regard to the 4th race?
Yeah, this were a race I thought came up kind of short. Number 3, Harvest Moon. Callahan won 2 in a row on the dirt here. You know, Callahan excellent with the younger horses, 2, 3-year-olds, and then you get Pratt aboard here. Tips me off that this is a very live to win, obviously at 2-1. Secret Keeper, Cliff Sives, 2 for 2, second off the bench here. Wygott are the owners there. So those would be the 2 I'm looking at, is the 3 and the 2. And then Brissett ships one in. Might be a little interesting, the 5, just because he's shipping one in that placed second in the Iowa Oaks. But I'm not too strong on that. I like the 3-2 here in race 4.
All right, Zapper, what do you think about the race 4, the Torrey Pines? You have a selection here, or do we just go ahead and pass this race and move forward?
Well, no doubt it's a 2-horse race on paper between Harvest Moon and Secret Keeper. Harvest Moon has the edge on the endurance because she's already run a mile 3 times. Secret Keeper's 2 for 2 and stretching out, and Into Mischief is the now sire in the game. The only other thing I could mention in this race, Felix, is the 6-horse Provocation was the beaten favorite last time after a very nice debut. She might get lonely on the lead here. The danger is at 9-2, the Provocation could be the speed play. So no doubt it's 6-3-2. I'm going to use the 6 also just because speed is always dangerous.
Yeah, but how's speed played over there? Only one day, Friday. We only have, we have 3 days of racing, and then we have to wait 5 more days until the next set of racing. But, how did that track play yesterday, Zapper?
I think the track's been phenomenal all meet. I think it's been playing it's actually gotten a little faster than it was a few weeks ago. For example, they ran a 138 mile, and that was a maiden 20 at Dan Blacker's yesterday, just off the pace. And if you look back at the Pacific Classic horses, Maximum Security and Dark Vader, who represents my team, They ran a 38 mile a month ago. So the track's gotten a little faster in the afternoons. And I think whenever it plays a little faster, speed's always dangerous, Felix.
Yeah, you're right about that, and I have kept my eyes open, and that's why I asked you that. Late Kenny Daniels, my former partner, that we created this whole radio production back in 1995. When I would talk to him, he would say, "Don't be so fast in basing a bias." The first two races, the speed horses win. Everybody says, "Oh, it's a speed bias." Well, you have to have a number of repetitions, and we haven't had those repetitions. But the digest is good for allowing how many races were run at that distance and who won, whether it's the early pace setter, the lone front runner, the mid-packer, or the closer. It's with pleasure we have our very special guest online, my longtime friend and buddy. When I think back of the fun, the laughs, and all the times we had together, I think, well, man, you know what? Life isn't that bad. He's the veteran Hall of Fame agent, Vince DeGregory. He's joining us from Del Mar on a Saturday morning. And Vince, a top of the morning to you.
Good morning, Felix. It's always nice to be a guest on your show. And I remember when we first started doing the show in Las Vegas in late 70s, I believe it was. Here we are, still healthy enough to enjoy horse racing, which has been fabulous in my career.
No, Vince, you got the dates wrong. See, we were discoing in the late 70s, you and I at the distillery, okay? We were drinking and dancing with Jack Klugman and Burt Bacharach and Angie Dickinson that you brought in, and all
Correct.
the people.
Good old days at the distillery.
Yeah, it was 95 that you actually were my first guest. It was Toby, Bruno, and myself doing this show, and then Bruno flew the coop, and then I met Ken Daniels, and you were our first guest on there. But Vince, how's it been going?
Things have been fine. I'm sitting here with Hector Palmer and Scotty McClellan, who wears Rispoli, and we're just enjoying the beautiful weather here in Del Mar, and happy to be here.
Yeah, we just shouted out to Scotty McCullen and Rispoli, and I mentioned that Scotty, the longtime agent for Joe Talamo, as well as Chris McCarron, and you handle McCarron as well. And Scotty has done a tremendous job. But we might have a little feedback, Vince, so you might have to walk away from these guys or tell them to keep quiet because it's going through the headset.
Okay,
all right,
I don't want...
No problem, bro. No problem. Let me ask you, Vince. What's the situation been like? You weren't allowed on track at Del Mar as an agent. How is it down here at Del Mar as an agent? Now, I know you told me yesterday, and we've been in contact with each other for many months, years, and what have you. But you talked to me, and you shared with me that you're doing all the entries from the Zoom. It's all virtual. And at Santa Anita, you weren't even allowed on the track, but at Del Mar, they sort of peeled it back. Bring us up to how it is right now.
Well, when the virus hit, everybody was really in a state of turmoil, especially when the racetracks were trying to stay open and try to be in a position where people got to pay attention to the new rules, wear a face mask, 6 feet apart, and they didn't want to have anything happen as far as people getting infested with the virus and shut down horse racing. And so everybody got nervous at that time. But little by little, paying attention to the rules, everybody agreed that if we want to stay in horse racing, we have to pay attention to the rules, and everybody has to be very, very careful of the virus. It has no fringe, and it can hit anybody, as we all know. So when they blocked us out, the agents at Santa Anita, of course, we were all upset about it, and for 5 months we were not allowed inside the racetrack, and I got kind of perturbed about it, because of the fact that they were allowing exercise boys and grooms to go in the morning and have their temperature checked and work horses and go home. And there's only, 20 of us as agents, and you're putting us in a bad category where we have to be around trainers to conduct our business in the proper way, and they just forgot about us. So before we come down to Del Mar, my affiliations with Joe Harper way back in the 70s when I had Pin K, and he was working as an assistant photographer for Joe Burnham at the time. I called Joe up. I said, Joe, I don't think the situation is properly handled as far as blocking out agents. That's to me is ludicrous. And I think that you ought to think about it. And I called Tom Robbins, and I called David Jurgens. And after 3 weeks of a confrontation about it, they decided, okay, we'll let the agents back in. And happily enough that we're here. We come in the morning at 5, and we leave by 10. They don't want us hanging around to do the entries like we always did. They don't want people to be in congregation where there's too many people where, God forbid, if somebody got sick, everybody could get contaminated as well. So we went along with the rules, and we accept it, and that's the way it is. And so now what do? They have an 800 number you call, and they send out a code. And when you call that, it'll say it's a conference call. And then the operator will say, what is the code? And you put the code in, and they'll say, we're not ready yet. So the music comes on. And it more or less makes you at ease that we understand this is what we have to do. And pretty soon they say, okay, we're ready to go. And then they start to draw, like if you were right at the racetrack. You hear all the post positions drawn, the horses' names. And if your name's on too, all the agents can hear it. Owners can hear it, anyone. And then you tell who your first call is or your second call. And we've become accustomed to realizing at least we have this way to be able to conduct our business, and we're not left out. So we're kind of happy about it. We can come in the morning, go around the bar and see the horses and the grooms and the friendliness of being around horse racing, nothing like it. And for the many years I've been affiliated with horse racing, horses get treated better than kids, to be honest with you. And for the outside PETA organization to continually knock horse racing, if I had a gun, I'd kill all of them, to be honest with you.
All right. Hey, Sonny Corleone, okay? Peel it back a little bit, my man, okay? Hey, let me ask you, are the jockeys allowed to work horses now? Last week they weren't. Were they able to work them this week?
No. The health board has blocked us, and the jocks are upset about it because they want to keep working horses in the morning to stay fit, and we're not being allowed to do that, and we're going to have to try to have a meeting about that before we start Santa Anita and see if they'll start adjusting with the rules, realizing that trainers need the jockeys and the jockeys need to be on those horses, get to know.
All right, so let me interrupt you here. So what are the jockeys doing during the morning hours?
Well, some are going to the beach, and you see them running up and down, jogging, and try to stay fit.
Okay, so they're not even coming to the track because it's useless to come to the track. Now, what are you doing at the track? You going around to the barns? You're able to go to the barns and talk to the trainers now one-on-one?
Yes, we can go to the barns, walk around, and like I said, you can see the grooms and exercise boys and be next to the horses, something that you're accustomed to all the time. And so I'm happy about that.
All right. How many years you been a jockey agent now?
1959. I've been an agent 61 years.
61 years. I got shoes as old as that, Vince.
Yes. And lucky enough to have had 9 Hall of Fame jockeys that I've helped. I never
Name
realized
them. Name the Hall of Fame jockeys. Okay. Hold on. Let me repeat them. Cordero. Pincay. McCarran, that's 3.
Shoemaker.
4.
Georgie Velasquez.
5.
Jacinto Vasquez.
6.
Alex Solis.
7.
Victor Espinoza.
8.
And recently Daryl McHarg.
9.
And I think the last one that'll be is Joel Rosario, who I brought from Northern California here.
You sure did. You sure did.
So that could be 10. I'll probably be dead by that time. Who knows?
How old are you now?
I'll be 88 next Saturday, and happy to be around. I think horses kept me going and keep me look younger and enjoying horse racing. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like you either, and that's why I asked you, how old you are, because I should have scheduled this interview for next Saturday because it's your 88th birthday. But we're going to be the first one to wish you a happy birthday here. So happy 88th birthday to my man. We go back a long way.
I appreciate that, Felix.
I appreciate you, Tommy D, for my man Vince DeGregory.
Hey, Vince, always good to talk to you. Have you on the show.
Nice talking to you too, Tommy.
Yeah, just a question today I guess I would have is you got S1 on a few mounts today. You think you got a shot? I kind of like race 5. You're riding for Paul here. I think that 15-1 at a price. Do you have any information on this horse at all?
I thought he ran very good the other day. Only thing is, post positions over here, outside post and inside post sprinting is horrible. The 1 or 2 hole. In fact, that's one out of the 1 hole the other day. First time any horse went out of the 1 sprinting. And the outside post going long, 9, 10, 11, going a mile in the grass is very hard. So he's got to overcome the post position, but I think he has a chance. I really do. And you got to have luck when you're getting a bad post. You got to hope that the braking can somehow drop into the first turn and save grounds, and hope that the speed collides and gives you a chance to kick in. So, yeah, we hope he's got a chance there, sure.
Yeah, I love S1, and I always wish him the best of luck. I think he's a great young rider, and always wish him the best success, as with you too, Vince.
Hey, Zapper. Hey, Zapper, for Vince DeGregory, our man, you got a question?
I always have a question. And Vince, happy early birthday, and I hope there's quite a few more in your future. I miss seeing you down at Del Mar this summer. And here's my question.
Sure.
You've been around a long time, Vince. I just want you to answer 3 things. Name the best trainer you've ever seen train a horse, jockey you've ever seen ride a horse, and a horse, period, that you eyeballed in person, not on TV, but those 3, the best trainer you've seen train, the best jockey you've seen ride, and the best horse you've ever seen.
Well, to answer the best trainer, there's so many of them, it'd be hard for me to say one was better than the other one, because we have to understand, to be a top trainer, you better have some horses underneath you that you can train, and teach them how to become runners. There's so many that I've been affiliated with. Alan Jurgens, Frank Martin, Las Barrera, God Almighty, Bob Baffert today. And Bob Baffert, as I say to him all the time, Bob, you're not from the old school. You're from the young school, because when you got horses that get ready to run, you don't baby them. If they can go 3/4 and 12 out of the gate, you run them, boom, you come out of the gate in 12. Most old-time trainers don't do that. They run horses like Charlie Whittingham, another great one. First time out of the boxes, he didn't want his horses to reach their peak. He'll tell the jock, don't abuse them, get a race into them. So to answer your question, there's too many of them that I could say is number one over the other one. Jockeys, I was around, like my godfather was Eddie Arcaro. He was called the master. And being around him, he taught me so many things before I became an agent. And then eventually when I had Angel Cordero, nobody knew who Angel was. And I went to Eddie about him, and Eddie took the time, give him his movies for him to watch how he did it. And pretty soon, next thing you know, I got all these Hall of Famers. I mean, how can I separate Cordero and Pincay or Shoemaker? I mean, they're all great riders in different eras. And horses, everybody always asks me, who's the greatest horse I've seen, and I've seen them all. And I always say Kelso, 5-time horse of the year, carrying 136, 137, go a mile and a quarter, whatever it may be. And today we don't have that opportunity because the business is so involved. When a 3-year-old becomes a champion, boom, goes to the farm, breeding. We don't have the opportunity to see their greatness as they can get older. So, Larry, I hope I give you an answer to all of the 3 questions.
And who was the best disco DJ you ever saw, Vince?
Which one?
Who was the best disco DJ you ever saw?
Oh, Felix Taverna, by far. There was nobody greater than Felix at the distillery. Oh, was that the place to be at? I used to sit at the bar with John Gosden, who was a great trainer himself over in England. We used to sit there and just enjoy the beautiful women and the cordiality of the people involved. There always no arguments, no. How can I say, no attitude adjustments. Everybody loved being there at the distillery.
It was such a great place, and I still have so many fond memories of you walking in, you being the dapper Dan and the dapper Don that you were, and you'd walk up to the bar, and the place was right across from the Solana Beach Post Office. It's now a parking lot. And there was a silhouette of what kind of lighting is it? I can't remember the kind of it was a blue light, a black light, whatever it was of the naked women, and there was just a silhouette on her, and it was a long bar, and a lot of the women would just belly up to the bar and sit there, and Vince would walk up and he'd look at down the bar and he'd buy them the whole bar a drink,
Morning, John.
And then,
good luck today, John. I'm on the radio show with Felix Taverne. I'm talking to John Sadler.
all right, tell John Sadler good luck today.
John, he said hello, John. He said hello back, Felix.
Thank you. We got everything going on, but I recall this, and this is one of the memories that I'll take with me is that I can remember how you used to walk in. You were dressed so dapper, and it was a great place because all the girls were dressed up, and it was beautiful women and beautiful men, and it was a great time. And you'd buy all the girls a drink at the bar, and then I could remember one night this girl came down to me and she said, "Hey, is Vince coming in tonight?" And I said, "Well, let me see. It's about 10:10. I think he'll be here within 20 minutes." And, because by clockwork, it was like 10:30, you were at that bar. And what great times. And you remember, tell him the celebrities you brought into that place.
All right. Jack Klugman was with me the night that you always ask me to talk about it. The place was jumping, and I went to the bathroom, and I always hear the music going. And all of a sudden, I'm washing my hands, and I said, "Man, what's going on? There's no music." So as I walked out, I opened the door. I see that on the left side, there was a black fella who had a gun on another guy, and nobody was moving, nobody was talking. And me being from a New York boy, I've seen that many times. So as that guy kept arguing, I said, "My time to either nail him or something's going to happen." So he kept hollering. Boom! I hit him with a left hook, and down he went. The gun went flying, and everybody, the music started playing. Everybody forgot all about it. That was one of my fascinating nights. And Klugman said to me when I got over in the corner, he said, "Man, you know where that guy could have shot you?" I said, "Jack, you're from Philadelphia. You saw that stuff all the time. If they're going to do it, so what? You got no control of it anyway." So, yeah, and Angie Dickinson was there with Burt Bacharach. Desi Arnaz was there. Who else can I say that?
No, there was it was definitely the place. What's your best bet today? You looked at this card. I know that I haven't leaned on you for a while, but you're a pretty good handicapper in your own right. Who do you like today at Del Mar in the 11th race card if you were going to put some hard-earned money on one of the choices?
Well, I will say this. I'm sitting with Hector Palmer, and we talked about the first race. Baffert's got 2 in there. Espinosa's on 1. And Baffert's got Pratt on the other one. And the workouts say that Espinosa is on the better one. And Hector said, "Yeah, you bet on the other one. Usually the longest price always wins." So I'm picking Espinosa to win the first for Baffert.
Okay.
He likes Pratt to win it. And in the last race, I like Richie Belcher's horse. He's been training extremely well. And Richie's an outstanding trainer as well. And so I think Pratt will win the last race on Shadow Springs.
All righty, Shadow Spinks, and that's 7-2. Are you impressed with Rispoli and Flavian?
Yeah, I'm impressed with both of them. Flavian seems like he's very good on dirt or turf, and you got to remember, Rispoli came here from Hong Kong, where all they had in there was grass racing. So he's a very, very outstanding grass rider. And the dirt. I am not that high on him yet. Maybe you get acclimated to the dirt clods coming back and hitting him. Where on the grass, they don't have that problem. So I think Pratt's outstanding overall between the two of them. And so is Espinoli on the grass, Rispoli on the grass. On the dirt, I'd be a little leery. I would bet against him on the dirt until he gets acclimated to being able to ride on the dirt more often.
Hey, can we have dinner for your birthday?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, schedule me any night this week. I'll come and pick you up. Tommy D will join us. We'll try to bring Wade Taylor. We'll try to get Larry Zapp down there, and I got the place all figured out. So, hey, thanks for joining us on the radio this morning.
I'm happy to be able to be on the radio show at any time for you.
I got you, brother. Matter of fact, you should
wish everybody luck today. Above all, be safe. That's the name of the game.
Hey, Vince, have you ever considered talk radio? Because, you talk a great game. I love it.
I appreciate being the guest Felix, always. And it's nice to talk to everybody. And if you need me, call me anytime.
You got it, my man. Happy 88th birthday next Saturday, August 29th. All righty, let's go back to the board here. Just a great guy. One of my favorite people in life and always been there. I met him, as I said, back in 77, and we have never missed a step. We have never been out of synchronization. It's been a great friendship and a man that I say that without any doubt, he's a true friend. Tommy D, let's go back to the races. Let's go to a beaten claiming race, which is race number 6 on the card. What do you have in regard to the 6th race?
Yeah, Felix, race 6 is one of those ones. If you look down in my thing, I have a lot of horses here. If you were to play up and down, it's kind of right in the middle of the ticket there. I would spread deep here. I guess if I had to give you top choice, it probably would fall on the 7-2 Baby Gronk. Spar nosed out last time at Santa Anita. It's 0-4 at Del Mar, so I can't give it too much backing. Maybe at a price, number 12. Second claim, 12-5, open last time at Los Alamitos, so maybe has a chance. And square deal, the 10 at a price. So 15-1, 12-1, and the 2 there. But I think this is a spread race, and I don't really have a strong opinion.
All right. Hey, Zapper, what about the non-call in the first race yesterday at Santa Anita? My phone was like pinging. I'm going like, what the hell is going on here? The 2 remained up. Everybody thought the 2 was coming down, and the 5 was going to move up. And then they disqualified after a lengthy period the 1. What'd you make of it, Zapper?
I thought it was a bad call. The 2, because Brice Blanc, who was desperately trying to win the race, he's the one who created everything. Because when the 1 came, Vladimir Seren's horse came off the turn, she's in front. She's allowed to adjust her lane, meaning there's no straight lane out of a turn, Felix. So she comes out of the turn. She comes in just a little, but it's her lane because she's in front. Brice Blanc's got more horse, so he dives and takes Flavian Pratt inside of him out and almost causes a catastrophe. And they look at it forever. And, of course, all of us knew the 2 needed to come down because, in fact, if they don't get Brice Bays, I'll be shocked. And instead, they took Valdivia's horse down, and it was the worst. It's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life.
I agree. Hey, you know what, man? We're going to go out, have a beer, and hug, you and I, Zapper, because we agree on something. I thought it was a really bad decision. And my man Jim Muse down there in San Diego, really was the first one on it. He just, and my friend Charlie in Las Vegas said, hey, can you believe what they just did? He texted me. I'm thinking, wow, it's incredible. I agree. By the way, my man Ken Rose wants to congratulate you, Zapper, for domestic spending that you released on this radio. You know, you released on this radio show last Saturday, and I was telling Tommy D, we had breakfast earlier in the week. It was the first time Tommy D and I were able to go ahead and get together, and I said, you know, our radio show has given out so many winners over the last 3 weeks. And we're not an infomercial, and we're not selling our shit, and we're not really doing, you know, pounding our chest because we're not getting recognized for very much. But I want to tell you one thing. If you're a listener out there, you're not telling anybody, I don't blame you for not telling anybody because you don't want to go ahead and drop the prices. The horses that this radio show has released to you, the audience, over the last 3 weeks have been very, very good. And do I have to tell you about the $25 plus horse that Toby came on and gave last Saturday? Tommy D was in the winner's circle. Larry Zapp was in the winner's circle. And we go to my man, CC, Creating Capital. You got to get into the winner's circle, CC. Where are you going, my man?
Oh, good morning, Felix. Yeah, today we're settling in this 5th race at Del Mar. Maiden special weight, 1 mile on the turf. And we're going to go with the Haranis racing horse here. Number 4, Camaraderie. A lot of things we like about this horse. It ran over in Ireland. 7 furlongs, came in second out of 14 horses. Went a 6-month layoff. Comes here, races at Del Mar off of that 6-month layoff, finishes third at a mile and 16th on the turf, and now coming back to a flat mile. One of the things we like the most here, I know oftentimes, we're very statistical related. It's how we try to identify a lot of long shots, and some of the stats here we really like is John Sadler, the second time that he uses Lasix. He's a 32% winner and 63% in the money. And also the very capable, we feel, Juan Hernandez, who we feel doesn't get as much credit as he should. On the turf, Hernandez is a solid 16% win, but out of 106 races, 50% of the time he's in the money. So we think all of those things combined, second off the layoff with what looks like a very capable horse here, we think this horse will be right there at the wire. And our suggested wagering strategy for this particular horse, he's 15 to 1 morning line. Hopefully he'll get overlooked and float up some more. Is 2 units to win, 4 units to place, 8 units to show.
And I like that.
15 to 1. But that's why we're Thoroughbred Racing's most consistent long shot services. We don't look for the obvious. We try to find the ones that are not so obvious.
All right, my man. Have a great day out there. Give my best to Kimberly and give my best to John. Matter of fact, Preacher Willie reached out to me last week. I owe him a phone call because, Willie from Surfside said that he had a great relationship with you as well as John. Thank you, Cece, very much for the call. We will check in with you next week in regard as we move it along here. Nice price there at 15 to 1. When he says 2 units, and that would be like $2 to win, $4 to place, and $8 to show. There's people that stagger their bets where they'll make $50 to win, $100 to place, and $200 to show. So they keep on doubling across the board, and that's the way he plays. And if it works for you, it works for you. Getting a lot of emails and texts in regard to that non-call yesterday, and I'd have to agree. And when I don't have any dog in the fight, I could see things clearly. And if you and I was a steward, and I looked at that, my decision would have been yes, the 2 would have been taken down. Although I love Brice Blanc, he's one of my favorite people. He's always been a good guy. And you would have had to take him down. You move the 5 up, the 1, because Brice came over and, as Larry explained it perfectly, is that, he took Flavian's horse out. But a lot of fans upset about the stewards. And, there's a new group of stewards there. And I have to agree. I thought it was a real bad call.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing with people's money, the hard-earned money, people are trying to figure out this game, and if they're on the wrong side of it, they feel a little spited. It's just what happens in this game, Felix. We're on the right side sometimes, and we're on the wrong side. And when we're on the wrong side, we're upset about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we can go back, to how long the inquiry was. It wasn't as long as the maximum security 26-minute inquiry, or it wasn't even an inquiry. It was an objection in the Kentucky Derby. And remember that. They disqualified maximum security, not on an inquiry. It was an objection, 2 objections. So you never know. When you win the race, as my friend, the longtime Emil, who used to sell Bob's cards up in Del Mar, and he said, the most important word in horse racing is, don't you, Felix? It's official. When they push the official sign up there, then you're getting paid.
That's the truth, Felix. I do believe with that. But, let's I want to ask Zap about Del Mar, the grade 2 here, race 7, United. Zap, do you think there's any horse in this field that could beat number 1 United? I was trying to find one, and I couldn't. Help me out here.
He's starting to remind me, Tommy D, of Bricks and Mortar, who basically did enough to beat anybody who ran against them, including last year at the Breeders' Cup when, United gave Bricks and Mortar a little scare. United's turned into a really nice, consistent horse. I think you make money keying United over maybe a couple of long shots. I think the 5 Warden Jerry, I'm going to excuse his last race because a mile and 3/4 is not for most horses, the San Juan Capistrano distance. I think the cutback to a mile and 3/8 will suit him just fine. And maybe if I had to play one more horse, the 7 Red King, this 6-year-old English Channel has gotten really, really good. So I think there's an opportunity to make money, whether you're playing exactas or trifectas, going vertical. But I think United's going to take some beating. He's just turned into the horse that just wants to beat you.
Was this the same United that ran second to Bricks and Mortar in the Breeders' Cup?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that made me sick, didn't it, Tommy D?
Unbelievable.
I had United. What was the price on United that day in the Breeders' Cup?
It was
50
51 to 1.
51 to 1. That's right. And I couldn't believe that we were at Santa Anita. It was so disappointing. Getting a lot of text, a lot of response on this inquiry, man. I mean, people really want to talk out. Andy Asaro says that he's not even going to play the tournament today up at Del Mar because he's so upset. Why should he play the tournament when, judges have the opportunity to go ahead and strip him of his money? And basically that's almost what you just said.
Yeah, no, I feel for Andy. I mean, anytime, especially, watching this game and, you see one call go one way and then that same call doesn't go that way. It's just, there's too much up in the air with the stewards. That's the one thing with horse racing. And especially when you have money on it. I mean, you're live to a pick 5 or a pick 4 and your horse gets taken down and you get knocked down. That takes everything out of you, Felix.
Oh, without any question. I can remember years ago, my friends, Bob and Kathleen Verratti, had a horse ridden by Lafitte Pincay Jr. called Revel Slew. And he won. And the funny part about this whole story, which is really not funny, but it is somewhat comical, I might add, was that Bob was flying to Philadelphia, or he was on a plane, and his wife, Kathleen, and I were on the track, and we watched the race, and Pincay just rode beautifully and got the win. And Bob was getting off the plane, to pick up his luggage, and we said, hey, his wife, Kathleen, relayed to him, hey, we won. And we're all excited down there, and then all of a sudden, they disconnect, and everything's going down in the winner's circle, and the inquiry sign comes up. And then all of a sudden, after like 10 minutes, the judges ruled that Revel Slew would be disqualified. And I was right there. And Lafitte looked up at the stewards and said, what the blank? Are you kidding me? And the funny part of the story was that Bob called back, and Kathleen says, well, what do you want, the good news or the bad news? And Bob said, well, give me the good news. And he said, we won. And tell me what the bad news was, is that, well, we got disqualified. And by the way, I wanted to shout out, Independence Hall is coming to California, and he'll be in the Michael Whitey McCarthy barn. So Independence Hall, he won the Jerome, and he won the maiden race back there, and ran into Sam Davis, and then ran into the Florida Derby, and might have had an injury in that race because he ran so fast the race before. But Bob and Kathleen Verratti's Independence Hall is going to be in the Michael McCarthy barn. He's going to be here by the end of the month, and he'll be stationed at Santa Anita. So he'll be stalled and living in beautiful Arcadia, California. And I think that you're gonna see a lot of big things from this colt, the son of Constitution. We haven't even talked about the Derby or anything, but I want to go back
and talk about a couple more races before we have Tommy D on. When you go to the 8th race today and you look at this 8th race and you figure out, all right, what's going on here? What is going on here in the 8th race, Tommy D?
You know what? I think there's 3 or 4 horses that can win this race. I don't give my check mark to one single horse, so I think it's open. I like the 6, 5, and 3 in that order. Extra Hope is 5-2, but it was second in a grade 3 in the fall, so some time off. Mandela is the trainer here, and then you got El Tiger Terrible, won last at Del Mar, going 7 furlongs, won by 4+, so got to like that. And then the 3, Panico, Sarin, Rizzapoli, second and last at this level, got to give it another fair chance. So 3, 5, 6, I like 6 on top, but I think it's a race. Maybe you might be able to pick another 1 or 2 to even throw in the mix.
I want to thank some folks who keeping us on record. A number of folks text said that Rispoli won 4 races yesterday. So congratulations. And so Rispoli was leading by 1, so that means he was 5 up, and now he is. I think Pratt won 1 yesterday, so it's about a 3 or 4 point lead, race lead now for him, and we'll keep our eyes on it. Just like we'll keep our eyes on Double T, Toby Terrell, joining us here on Track Talk. Double T, what's going on?
Hey, Felix. Well, many storylines, unfortunately for us here, not only in Southern California, but even more so in Northern California. We have just seems like one hurdle after another. Just when you think you're going to turn away one of them, here comes another doozy. And in this case, I'll tell you, these fires are burning in historical proportion. I understand there's about 400 of them burning throughout the state. Talked to a friend of mine who was up in Arcadia yesterday. He said it is just absolutely dreadful outside in the air. And, of course, you throw this scorching humidity and heat wave on top of all of that, and you have some trying conditions, to say the least.
Without any doubt, and our thoughts and our prayers to the first responders, our firemen that are fighting. It's like a tornado fire, and you're right, the humidity is just making them just explode. And we've been pretty good in San Diego County so far, but I've been in San Diego for 45 years. I don't think it's. I think this could be the most humid it's ever been, and we only pray for our firemen that they're out of harm's way. You've been on great roll, Tove. You've been on a great roll. You've been focused. You've been doing the work every single day. You've been eyeballing these horses. You gave a nice winner from the Peter Miller barn on Saturday that should have made everybody who tuned into this show happy. Zapper scored at Saratoga. Tommy D scored at Saratoga. Let's continue the ride here. Let's go to the first race quickly. I know that we got 8 minutes left. We need to go ahead and jump on it. Who's your selection in race number 1, Tobe?
Bob Baffert unleashing a very, very fast filly in here who needs no introduction. Her name is Princess Noor, owned by a very wealthy businessman of Saudi Arabia who intends on popping the rubber band off with millions of dollars to come into the game, does not want to get outbid the storyline, and was going to name this horse after his wife. I don't think that happened, but nonetheless, that's not going to take the speed away that this filly has. She's a rocket ship, number 2, Princess Noor.
Yeah, he just couldn't decide which wife he was going to name it after. All righty, so let's go to the 5th race here as we move forward.
Well, another barn that's holding a hot hand and doing it very quietly but very succinctly is young Leonard Powell. They call him Leo around here, and I'll tell you, he had a beautiful 9-1 shot winner last Sunday named Sign of the Cross. Today, he's got a big upset chance, I believe, in race 5 with number 11, Pressard, ridden by Iswan Flores. And if he can guide this horse into that winning spot, get the seam, and make that run, I think he has a shot to get up at a big price. In race number 5, that's number 11, Pressard.
Yeah. We just had Vince DeGregory on, who's the agent for And Vince and I go back as long as you and I go back, and I had to remind. Vince says, yeah, when we did the radio show back in 77. I said, Vince, we didn't do the radio show back in 77. We did the disco DJ and fun at the distillery in 77. You, Toby, and Bruno kicked off my radio show in 1995, the Thoroughbred Hotline. And Vince never has forgotten that. He was our initial guest back there. But Eswan Flores is his boy. Let's get them home. Let's move forward, and let's go to, is it for the maiden races, or is there any more?
Well, we have like $650,000 of stake money on top of the $500,000 for the Pacific Classic. So we do have no more maiden races, nothing but stake races to wind us up and wrap up the big Pacific Classic Day card. Hopefully all goes just like this meet has gone, and we'll be more than satisfied to get a big Pacific Classic Day on the board. And, of course, we'll be rooting for the Zapper. He's all about Dark Vader, all over Instagram, all over social media.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful pictures of the horse. Now all he's got to do is run.
Yes, sir, baby. That's sir, baby. And around the turn they go. It's Dare and Go. Has the name on cigar. It's Dare and Go to upset and win the Pacific Classic under Alex Elise and Richard Mandela. That's one of my favorite Pacific Classics of all time. Who do you like in the Pacific Classic, Tommy D?
You know what? I'm sticking with Maximum Security here. I have to stick with him. I think that there's a lot of things. I know he came off second off the bench last time in the Bob Baffert barn, but we also got to take a look. He is getting a 5-pound weight break here. He was at 127. He's going to be at 124 now, weight-wise. So I think that's going to be a big advantage. I think Bob Baffert's going to have Maximum Security ready to go. Mid-court, I think, might be the other one. And then Higher Power, Sadler's won this race the last 2 years.
Yes, he has. Zapper, I know you like Dark Vader, and so we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and send up our good vibes to you. Toby Terrell, what about you? Who do you like in the Pacific Classic?
Well, I've talked about Baffert throughout the week. He calls up to confirm matters with me here, official business. And, last weekend, McKenzie and Maximum Security both had very nice, strong workouts. And, I think Baffert was kind of shocked that the horse didn't perform better than he did last time around, but he's almost like doubly confident that he's going to turn it around today. Very confident. He's like, you talk to the riders that get off of these horses, and they're on the best, and it's just like they got that little something extra to say about the power that they feel underneath them when it comes to Max. A lot riding on this horse's shoulders. We'll see if he comes through today.
Earlier in the week, I don't know how early it was, but I think it was Thursday. When did we had breakfast yesterday, right? Or Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah,
so it was
2 days ago.
Wednesday. Wednesday, I get a call from my friend Charles in Vegas, and he says, hey, what's going on? And blah, blah, do they have any fans allowed at Del Mar yet? I go, no. And he goes, owners? I go, yeah, they're letting owners in. If you have an owner's license, you're able to get in, blah, blah, blah. And he said, hey, I want you to talk to a friend of mine. He wants to say hello to you. I go, hello? He goes, hi, this is Pete Rose. I go, Pete Rose? And I go, hey, Pete, how you doing? We start talking, and I worked with Pete at the MGM when I did my show back there with Kenny. MGM was a sponsor with Terry Lanny, so I got to know Pete. And over the years, Charles and Pete became very good friends. But anyway, he says, are you still doing your radio show? Charles tells me you do a horse racing show. And I go, yeah. He goes, hey, have you ever heard my man Toby Terrell? I said, yeah, Toby's on the show. He goes, oh, man. That guy's on fire. He goes, last Sunday, he had this 10 horse. That was the Joe Herrick horse and S1 Flores horse. And he said, I had the 6 and 7. And, it was right there. And I didn't play Toby's 10. If I play the 10, I win $33,000. And I said, well, you got to stay with the program. He says, oh, man. He goes, tell Toby he's doing a great job. And so there you got it, the Hit King,
following you, Double T, Toby Terrell. All right, best bets we go. Tommy D, where's your best bet?
Geez, this one's a tough one, Felix. I think if I had to give you a top horse here, I would lean into number 7, Chaos Theory in the Green Flash. That's race 3 at 7-2.
All righty. What about you, Zapper?
Well, I'm going to go to Saratoga. The 4-star Dave is a grade 1, goes as race 9. There's a horse coming back, stretching out, the 9 horse, Chewing Gum, 20-1 in the morning line. If he wins, that's awesome, but don't leave him out of your exotic. I think he's sitting on a big race for Hall of Famer Bill Mott.
All right, this is where Zapper's very dangerous when he comes off the bench and fires a big double-digit horse. What about you, Toby? Best bet?
Talked about Pete Rose. Let's talk about the Gronk, Baby Gronk, race number 6. He's number 2 for longtime veteran trainer Bill Spar.
All righty. We want to thank Wade Taylor for putting it all together for us today. It was one of our finest shows, and as I've always said, there's not very many shows on thoroughbred horse racing that can stand up to track talk. Tommy D, Larry Zapp, Toby Terrell, C.C. Carlin Rogers, Wade Taylor. I'm Felix Taverna, thanking Vince DeGregory. Have a great Saturday. What a great show, guys. Adios.